Hi, I'm Shay Poulin, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the book The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. The story takes place in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hazel Grace Lancaster, a teenage girl with terminal stage 4 metastasized thyroid and lung cancer, is forced by her mother to go to a support group when she decides she is depressed. In the literal heart of Jesus, as the group leader Patrick calls it, Hazel meets her love interest, Augustus Waters. Augustus had osteosarcoma in his right leg, also known as bone cancer, and his right leg is amputated, so he walks on a prosthetic leg, but is now in remission. Readers can immediately sense intense feelings between the two, but the reader learns that Hazel is trying to subdue her feelings out of the fear of hurting Augustus when she dies. They know their relationship will be literally short-lived, so Augustus decides to use his wish to take the two of them to Amsterdam to meet the author Peter Van Houten and to learn what happens to the characters after their favorite novel, An Imperial Affliction. Unfortunately, Hazel realizes that there's really nothing she can do to stop Augustus from feeling immense pain after she dies. Throughout the novel, Hazel and Augustus's love continues through pain, struggle, and strange circumstances, and the two of them learn to accept that they will die, and that you don't need to die a heroic death to be considered an important person. Hazel Grace Lancaster has short brown hair from chemo, is very thin and frail-looking, and has chubby cheeks from treatment. She also carries around an oxygen tank that she calls Philip. She's well-spoken and intelligent despite the fact that she doesn't normally go to her university classes because she is too sick to go. She's pessimistic and doesn't have very high expectations for her life after learning to accept that her life has no happy ending. She seems antisocial to many people, but this is because people always give her sad looks. They can't treat her like a normal person, their normal lives are too tiring for her, and she can't bear to be reminded of even more people that she will leave behind when she dies. She sees herself as a grenade that will blow up and harm everyone in her path, therefore causing herself to push away those closest to her. Augustus Waters is described as a well-spoken, tall, attractive young man with mahogany hair, blue eyes, and bad posture. He is well built since he used to be a basketball player, but he quit basketball because he realized it was pointless. At first, he appears to be a bit overconfident and self-absorbed, but once you read further into the novel, you realize that he is not a very serious person, and this is him just trying to have fun, and that he is really just a fool in love. But you do get to see the more serious side of him when serious conflicts arise. He also fears oblivion and wants to die a heroic death and be a memorable person, and is heartbroken when he realizes that this likely will not be possible for him. Another important but more minor character is Hazel and Augustus's friend Isaac. He is described as having glasses that magnify his eyes. He has eye cancer, so he was also in the support group, and that is where Hazel met him for the first time, but he has been close with Augustus for a very long time. He is very overdramatic and pessimistic, but when he wants to be, he can be thoughtful and sensitive. This novel falls under the category teen fiction, since the main characters are teenagers. It is written with humor and aspects that teenagers would understand and enjoy more than older adults would. It could also be under the genre romance and realistic fiction, since the elements in this book are realistic, and romance since it is a very romantic novel and it is a love story. But it's not quite your typical love story. Some of the conflicts in this story are person versus nature, which is the main characters and some of the minor characters against cancer, and also the family members of the characters against the fact that their children are dying. There's also person versus self, with Hazel struggling to accept the fact that she's going to die and not going to leave a very big mark on the world, and Hazel also struggling about the fact that she has nothing that she can do to protect Augustus and her family from feeling terrible pain from their loss. I think this book has some messages that are really unique to the story. One of them is the fact that cancer isn't pretty, and there's no way that people can make it seem like a heroic thing when it's just a part of nature. Another message is the fact that everyone is going to die, and even if we aren't going to phase the universe that much from leaving it, or phase the entire world from ceasing to exist, we are still important people to the ones that love us. I would rate it 4.5 stars out of 5 because it was really good, lots of emotions.
No.
Why? Well, I needed to take a month break in between because it was really depressing.
It's okay, it's just a book.
And there were a few parts that were a bit cheesy and made me a little bit uncomfortable, but it's very well written, very good use of vocabulary, and it's really unique and has very good messages and themes. I would definitely recommend this book to read. I think I would recommend it more so for the girls though, because guys aren't as big of fans of love stories typically, and it is told from a girl's point of view. But I'm sure there are many boys that would enjoy this book, and I'd probably recommend it for age 14 and up, teenagers and young adults, since there is mature language and sexuality and things that younger people might not understand. So this has been my lit chat on The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I really hope that you enjoyed it and that you consider reading this book. And now, yeah, I can't do this anymore. It's just too emotional to talk about this book.